All right, real quick. So, hey, Morgan, I got you on Zoom because we were getting ready to go into some gold territory on my phone. I've been trying to record these Zoom calls so that basically I can share this so that I can share the love with everybody instead of having to rehash this stuff over and over and over. But real quick, just to recap, like you're a Washington State champion wrestler. I'm a Washington State champion wrestler. Right now, you're trying to be a superstar wrestler. You're working out of the Ohio State Regional Training Center, and Miles Martin ripped your arm off and tore your pec muscle. So you got surgery.
Yeah.
So what I was telling you is, so understanding when you're not reaching peak performance, that a lot of times something's wrong, okay? And a lot of people, they struggle with that because they've done what they've done to get to this point, and they're not willing to take a quantum shift in kind of how they're training, what they're doing. They're not stepping back and really looking at the problem, okay? So like I would say to you, okay, you said you've been very inconsistent, all right?
Yeah.
How like when you say inconsistent, like are you taking first in a tournament and then you taking sixth? Or are you down there in like the fours and the fives all the time?
I mean, like, last year was my first year on the senior circuit, and I mean inconsistent. Like my coach, I don't know if you know Tervel Delagnev. He was a heavyweight Olympian for
Yep.
yeah. So I do well in the room against these guys, and the guys I train with, they're all like I mean they're world medalists, like US Open champs and stuff. He's like, you're doing good, you know the moves. But I mean, last year I got second at the last team at the last chance qualifier, so I didn't qualify for the world team trials.
Okay.
So that's like what I mean by inconsistent. Like I'm not performing in competition like I know I could.
Okay. So you got to take a step back and ask. Like I tell everybody this. Like for me to perform in competition, always raise my level. Right? Like I never wrestled better in a room than I did in a match, ever.
That's my
Like,
problem. Yeah.
okay. And so the first thing I would say, just from a wrestling standpoint, like you're around a bunch of guys that have won world medals, correct?
Yeah.
Are there any Olympians in there that have won
Yeah.
Olympics?
I'm Kyle Snyder did.
Okay, but
Yeah.
he's at Penn State now, right?
Yeah. Yeah. He just yeah.
Okay, so when you look at that, right?
Yeah.
Like I tell people, like I can't help you win a world championship. Okay,
Yeah.
I can just help you become world class. All right, you have the resources all around you to win a world championship, to win an Olympic gold medal. Okay, two things you have to do: you have to listen to what they say, and then you have to apply it. Right? Like if you go, he says, "Hey man, you're not wrestling well in matches, right? Like you know the moves, but you can't get them to the match." Then my first thing that comes in my head, which I had a problem with early on in wrestling, was sports think. Right? You're familiar with sports think, right?
Yep.
Right? Like the most savage matches I had where I just trashed people, I don't even remember.
Absolutely.
I don't remember what happened. I'm just like, damn, I just beat this dude. Like there was a guy that had beat me one time, and then my senior year, I beat him 4-7 in the semis. Like I was stealing from him, and I was just like, man, how'd that happen? Like I put him on his back. He shot on me. Somehow I locked up a cradle, and I had him on his back for the whole first period. And when the first period was over, I was like, man, that's weird. It's 5-0, man. Man, what happened? But then, like my finals match for state, I was thinking the whole time. I got up on him, and then I chose down, and then I just made sure he couldn't escape from me in the down position. I held his hands together for half the period.
Yep.
So,
Smart.
but I watched, like I just talked this. You ever heard the name Stony Myers?
No. Who's that?
Okay, so Stony Myers and Jason Muggy. So Stony Myers was a 2-time state champion in AA.
Okay.
Jason Muggy was a 2 times. No. Yeah, a 3-time state champion from AAA, but they came down that year. So in the finals match right next to me in the Tacoma Dome, you had
Yep.
Jason Muggy and you had Stoney Myers. All right. Stoney Myers pinned him the whole first period. Stoney Myers caught him in the cradle, had him on his back. I was watching the match. I watched the whole thing. Like, I'm wrestling my match, watching that match, right? Like the worst sports thing you could ever imagine. And I just hit him up on the phone and was like, yo, but the crazy thing is Stoney Myers crushed him in college. So Stoney Myers went to Oregon State. Jason Muggy went to Oregon. Stoney Myers crushed him all 3 times they wrestled. And it was just interesting because I'm sitting here wrestling the match, watching that match, right? Bad. Okay. The one thing I talk to my players now, I do a lot of sports psychology. Sports think will kill you when you get to the elite level. And if you really dig into it, what makes the guys that are winning world championships and gold medals different? They don't have any sports think. They're just straight wrestling on reaction, right? Like they're just wrestling. Like their mind is shut down into savage mode, and their body is reacting to everything that's happening without thinking about it. And that's a huge quantum shift for a lot of people to make. A lot of people can't do that, right? It's hard to kind of cut away what you're thinking about, right? And so in the SEAL teams, you really learn it like in CQB in the house, like when you're shooting in the house and you're moving, because stuff happens so fast. If you have to think about it, you've missed already, right? Like you miss, like, oh, it's over. So the only thing you can do is just shut your mind down and just flow. Just flow through the building, pop your targets, do your thing, keep it moving. When you get done, there's times you're like, man, I don't really remember that. That's a great run, right? And so it's an uncomfortable, they call it the zone, right? I call it sports think, right? That sports think is the kind of the enemy of the zone, but you have to figure out what gets you in the zone, right? And I would tell you this, what do you do in practice that's different than you do in matches?
I would say I'm way more warm. I'm, you know, I'm looser. I'm more relaxed. Definitely more relaxed. Like, man, before a match, like at the U.S. Open last year, I was like strung out. Like I was thinking a million miles an hour.
All right. So here's the deal, right? What caused you to think a million miles an hour? Just the fact that you were at the U.S. Open?
And just
okay. Easy, dog. Yeah. It's easy, bro. You haven't been there before, right?
Yeah, and just like, you know, so listen, like first time on the senior circuit. I don't want to, yeah.
Listen. Remember what I told you. What I tell you the key is. What I tell you the key is.
You can't think, no sports think.
No. What I tell you about the key to the process is.
I got to take a quantum shift.
You got to make quantum shift, but you got to listen.
Yeah. And do what they tell me.
Yeah. Right. You're not listening right now. Okay. So what I would tell you, we're not wrestling this summer, correct?
No.
Okay. Do you have resources, or you come from you got enough money to go to some tournaments and just watch?
Yeah.
Okay. So then pick 2 high-level world tournaments. Maybe talk to your coach. Maybe just get on the plane as a dummy and just go watch. Okay. And pick somebody in the tournament and prepare and get ready through them, right? So you won't wrestle matches, but you'll be in the environment. And pretty soon you'll become norm to the environment. Trust me, bro, when I got in the SEAL teams, that first immediate action drill, I almost crapped my pants, man, straight up. Like, it was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Like, my stress, and my senior chief had told me, just grab my belt. If anything happens, you get scared, whatever, grab my belt. I was holding on his belt for dear life. And then 2 weeks later, I'm standing in the middle of it like, oh, man, okay, here we go. Right? Like, you got to get your body accustomed to what you're seeing. You can't just – no one steps in the arena the first time and is just a superstar. Okay? And I do it with my specialist, the specialist here at Illinois. You know, we have books on every stadium that we're going to play in. So they can, like, they literally take picture books. We call picture books. with their phone and they take picture of every stadium from every hash in the middle from every yard line.
Wow.
So then they can visualize, hey, I'm on left hash 43-yard line. I look at my picture. Okay, that's what I'm going to see. Boom. So when I get in the game, I've kicked that kick 50 times. Okay, you could do the same thing, right? All of this stuff, all I'm approaching right now is the mental aspect of you being ready to wrestle, just like you were wrestling in the room. For me, it was the exact opposite. I should have spent a lot more time getting ready for practice so that I could wrestle at a higher level in practice than competition, right? But I didn't understand that really. Like the SEAL teams elevated my athletic ability and my athletic capacity probably 5 times. And it wasn't physically, it was all the mental stuff that I learned, right?
Wow.
Okay. So what I would tell you, one thing I'm gonna teach you one thing, okay? And then I'm gonna tell you my 2 stories, but I'm gonna teach you one thing. So remind me at the end, I'm gonna teach you violence of action. Because in my opinion, it's probably the largest quantum shift that I learned in the SEAL teams for athletic preparation or, fight or flight or just getting ready to go to combat, okay? So what I want to talk to you about, though, you have all the resources. You got all the guys, right? Miles Martin, Kyle Snyder. You got access to everybody. Your coach, okay? Sit down. And then what I would tell you is you got to figure out how to be loosey-goosey when you go out to wrestle. And we'll talk about that, okay? Because I'm going to talk about my preparation then and my preparation now, okay? And we'll do that when we get to violence action. So what I wanted to tell you is you got to change the whole script, right? So my sophomore year, I went 43, 44, and 5, right? Lost 1 regular season match. That was the last match I lost to Jeff Amick. And then I lost 2 matches at regionals, 2 matches at state. I was like you, first year at state. I was like, oh my God. I won a match. Like we got back on the bus to go home after the first day I was out because there was only 2 of us there. And I was like, man, that didn't go so well, right? But then repeat, my second year, I transferred high schools to Charles Wright, and I got there. The wrestling room sucked. It was in the middle of the wood dome. It was hot. It was cold. Like you could wear 5 layers of sweats and maybe lose a pound in practice. Practice was easy. Like I was the best kid on the team by 5 miles. I beat the heavyweight. I was wrestling 120, 135 my junior year. I beat the heavyweight all the time. Okay, so I was there and I had a lot of success, right? I didn't lose a regular season match. I won league again. I got the regionals. I lost 2 matches. Boom, turn around, get the state, beat the number 1 ranked wrestler, turn around, lose 2 matches lose a match, and then I lose another match and I'm out, right? So the quarterfinals I lose, and then I go to the next match, I'm out. Boom, I'm done, okay? And I'm like, yo, like I stomped some people my sophomore year. I stomped some people my junior year, okay? Why can't I beat them at state? So like me, I don't care. Like I'm going to do what I think is best. I'm going to make a plan. I'm going to try to stick to the plan the best I can, okay? So long story short, I said, you know what? I wrestled like 49 matches my junior year. I said, I'm out of gas at the end. I'm cutting all this weight. It's hurting me. Like I'm going from, like back then I was going from like 45 to 35, right? And I was doing all this stuff and it just wasn't productive to a long season. And then I said, well, I'm coming out the gate on fire. Okay, so I said, boom, took a step back. I want to win a state title with less than 20 matches. Okay, you know the math. You got 3 matches at regional or at districts. You got 3 matches at regionals if you win all 3 of them.
Yep.
So that's 6. And then you got 4 matches at state. That's 10 matches right there. So you got to start at districts with less than 9 matches, basically. So yeah. I told my coach, I said, listen, coach, I'm not wrestling, man. He's like, Jake, like, you got to. I said, listen, man, I ain't worried about you in the team. I'm not worried about none of that stuff, okay? I'm winning the state title this year. And for me to win a state title, I can't wrestle until after Christmas. Okay. So the good thing was that year we went to the state finals in football. So we played football until early December. And so then I had basically a month, about 5 weeks where I went and wrestled my butt off, but I didn't compete. I didn't make weight. I didn't do nothing. So in the middle of Christmas, did you guys go wrestle in any other high schools during Christmas?
Honestly, my coach asked me to, but I said I don't think it's a good idea, so we didn't do that in high school.
Okay, so the difference between you and me, right? And this, I'm telling you this so that you can understand. I jumped at the opportunity to go to other high schools and wrestle.
Yeah.
Let's go to Clover Park. We went to Clover Park. It was awesome. But then we went to Timberline.
I know Timberline, yep.
Yeah, we went to Timberline. Greg Ford was there. Greg Ford was on a world team in the 70s, okay? He's African-American, never said a word, ever, okay? And I lost 14 pounds in practice. I was the only person from Charles Wright to finish practice. And then at the end of practice, I won every sprint, okay? It was like 2.5 hours. When I tell you like 14 pounds, I was like, oh my, like, man, this is just Jay Robinson wrestling camp right here. So I was on my way home. I was driving home. We all drove there separately because at Charles Wright, everybody lives all over the place. I was driving home and I said, yo, I need that every day. Right? Every day I need that. So I went to my mom. I said, Mom, I'm going to go to Timberline every day after school and wrestle. She was like, okay. And so somehow she had Greg Ford's phone number. She called Greg Ford. And he was like, as long as your coach is okay with it, I'm fine with it. So that next day, that was like, that weird Christmas break, I called my coach. I said, listen, coach. I said, I got to make a break. He's like, what do you mean? I said, I'm gonna go wrestle every day at Timberline. He's like, Jake, like, we're going to make you a team captain. And we can't do that if you go to Timberline. I was like, that's fine. I don't need to be a team captain. We're good. Okay. So I start going to Timberline every day. I'm weighing like 64 normally. Okay. I'm wrestling 48. I'm coming out, practice 50, 51. I get a Slurpee, right? You 2 pounds, you 2 pounds overweight, you get a Slurpee, right? Like, boom, I drink a Slurpee on the way home. I get a little dinner, get up for my morning run, hit the weights at lunch, go back to practice, right? Now, I skipped English every day, okay? I couldn't read and write anyway, so it didn't really matter. But I did some things like I want to win a state title. That's all I wanted to do. Yep. So long story short, I go to regionals, I win regionals. Boom. I go to state the first day, trash the first dude. I'm losing the second dude, right? You can watch my state championship run on YouTube. I'm losing, okay? I'm like, what am I doing? I'm out there thinking. I'm all stressed up and tight. And then I'm losing, so you got to cut it loose if you're losing, right? Bam, 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 boom. Walk out. I walk out of there with it. Like 15 seconds left, okay? So I ate whatever I wanted the first day. And this goes back to craziness, right? Like, you don't know what you're doing. So I weighed 162 pounds after the first day. I had to weigh in at 49 the next morning. So instead of doing weight the right way, I just ran off and on, 15 minutes on, 25, 30 minutes off until I stopped sweating. I broke into the second level of the Tacoma Dome, and I ran laps for 4.5 hours, okay? With a trash bag on, right? You know I have my plastics on, okay?
Yeah.
So then I went down, I weighed in. I was like 51. I was like, shit, we good. Went home. Woke up in the morning, came in for weigh-ins, was on weight, didn't have to do nothing else, made weight. Boom, hit the water and the high carbohydrate seed that I had. And then I wrestled my semifinals match probably, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. And shoot, I was down in that match like 3-0, right? And so I was thinking again, I was all tight. I had to cut it loose, right? Third period, I had to pick both up. I hated both up. Right? I hated to be on my feet. Had to pick both up. Took him down. Rest was history, right? I got a W by 1 point. Okay? So then I had roughly from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Like the final started like 7:30, right?
Yeah.
But I knew like I had to be there for the procession or whatever to walk out at 7:30. So I told my coach and everybody else, yo, I'm going home. Right? I live 20 minutes from the Tacoma Dome.
Yep.
So I went home. It was like a normal Saturday to me, man. I hung out, talked to my boys, kind of chilled a little bit. I went to the movies in the afternoon, caught a movie. And then about 5 o'clock, I drove back to Tacoma Dome. Right?
That's awesome.
I didn't have, there was no pressure on me, man. Like everybody asked, I didn't feel no pressure winning the state title. Right? Because I had been there so many times in my head and I just didn't feel no pressure, right? Like I'm not a big pressure dude. Pressure don't get to me really. So boom, I showed up. He got a penalty. It said 1-0, boom. I turned him in the second period, went up 3-1, 3-1 or 3-2, whatever it was. And then I told you the third period, I just held his hands together, wouldn't let him get away. I watched Stoney Myers and Jason Muggy over there on the other man, right? So when I look back at that, I made a quantum shift in the workload, the intensity, and in just the fact that I didn't wrestle. I won state, I was 19-0. Okay? It was crazy because they were talking about on the announcement. Jake Zweig enters a tournament at 12-0. This is like, he hasn't even wrestled this year. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, yeah, I'm good. That's the plan, right? Like, that's the plan, okay? So, boom, fast forward. You don't think about it a lot, right? So, I was at a school. I'm not going to use his name, okay? Dude took third in Division II 2 years in a row, okay? Dude was a savage, right? You couldn't outwork him. You know, he cut massive weight. He cut like 35 pounds a year. Like, it was crazy. He went from like a normal person down to a skinny kid. And so he came to me and we were talking about it. He's like, what do you think, man? I said, listen, man, you're good enough to win a national championship right now. I said, but you have to change what you're doing. I said, you cutting all this weight, you're doing all this other stuff. Like you're hurting yourself, right? Like you got to figure out what you got to do, you know? And I tell everybody, man, like I don't have the answers. Okay. I just know how to do it. And the how to do it is 99% of the problem. Because the answers are easy to get. Like you're surrounded by people that can give you the answers, right? It's the process to understand how to be world class.
Yeah.
So I talked to him about it. I said, listen, man, I told him my wrestling story I just told you, right? Like, hey, let's look at it. Like, are you wrestling too much? Are you cutting too much weight? You beat 3 national championship champions last year. He went to Midlands. I think he placed second at Midlands. Okay? You doing that, you should win a national title, okay? But Midlands is in December. Nationals is in March, right? Like, that's 2-3 months away. So we talked about it, and I taught him. I said, listen, man, you got to change what you're doing. So he ain't changed nothing, right? Where do you think he placed his senior year?
3rd or 4th? 3rd.
Okay. Hey, like I told you, you got to listen, and then you got to take action to make that happen, right? So that's my 2 stories for you. And what I would tell you is, if I was you, I would go to 2 tournaments, the biggest 2 tournaments you can go to if they happen this year. As soon as the tournaments turn on, because you're out for what, 6 months?
Exactly. Yep. Till October.
Okay, I coach football. I know a pec strain, a pec tear. I know labrum surgery. You name it. I know the recovery time. So 6 months. Okay. So what I would tell you is, in that time, you need to go to 2 tournaments, and you need to go as if you're wrestling. Okay, and pick somebody in the tournament and prepare with them, not with them personally, but like I don't care if you pick a Russian, Iranian. I don't give a damn. Just pick somebody, so that when they're going to wrestle, you're getting ready to go wrestle. Does that make sense?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you what I learned in the SEAL teams now, and then you got to talk to the Olympians, right? Like, you got to talk to the dudes that have been there. Because I'll tell you this, I don't give any advice on something that I ain't been there. right? I ain't even win. I wasn't even All-American in college. I won like 15 matches in college, right? I wrestled for 1 year. Okay, so I will never give you any advice on how to do stuff, but I will tell you how to cut out all of the preparation mentally. So when I first started wrestling, it took me 3 hours to get ready to wrestle for a wrestling match. Okay, I literally I'm gonna kill this dude. I'm gonna rip his arms off. Like it took 3 hours of that, and then I would go out there and I would do damage. Okay, so I got to college. It was probably an hour and a half in college, right? So you're wasting an hour and a half of emotional energy getting ready for this event.
And that's me. I do that.
Okay.
I wasted a lot of energy.
Okay, so we're gonna change that. Okay. Oh man, I think we can do it right now. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna teach you how to do it in like 2 seconds. Okay. So it's called it's violence of action. It's basically like a switch. I call it flipping the switch. Okay. And the best way to put it is we're going to trigger your body's immune system or your fight or flight system anytime we want to trigger it. Okay. And this is what I use. Hang on. I'm gonna share my screen and we're gonna go through this. Okay. Let me see if I can find the right. Oh yeah, there we go. Right there. Give me this video right here. Okay. Uh-oh. You gotta have Disney Plus. They're getting me. YouTube got me just now. Hang on. I know it's out here for free. Let me go find it for free. All right, here we go. All right. All right, that ain't a good one. We gotta back up a little bit. I need a little bit more lead time. Okay, hang on. All right, here we go. Here we go. We get this teed up.
To locate them. Regard mission tries to.
Okay. Oh yeah, this is it right here. Okay, let me share this screen. You still with me, Morgan?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I can't get back to Zoom now. All right, here we go. All right. So. Oh man, now I don't see it. Let's say this screen. All right. It's over here somewhere. All right. You got that right there?
Yep, I see the video.
Okay, so this is the way it works. We're going to put ourselves on this elephant, okay? So this Indian dude right here is riding an elephant, okay? I want you to, so you do visualization, correct?
Yep.
Okay, I want you to feel like this hot, sweaty pachyderm under your body, right? I think it's a pachyderm. I think an elephant's a pachyderm, whatever. But you feel that rough skin. I want you to feel that we're in India right now. It's 110 degrees with 100% humidity, okay? It's sticky, right? Like I want you to feel that. I want you to see the grass moving like this, okay? Are you good?
Yep.
Are you riding an elephant right now?
Yep.
Okay.
Reason.
Okay. What do you have in your body right now?
My heart rate just spiked a little bit.
100%.
Yeah.
Right? So all you have to do now, this is literally all I have to do. I just picture myself riding the elephant. Okay, picture myself riding the elephant. And then I see right here, I see it. Right here, I see that tiger coming for me. I'm like, oh yeah, here we come. Right?
Yeah.
Then that mug jump up, and right there, I see his mouth open. Like I could picture all of it. That mug, I see him coming for me, right? All the adrenaline is dumped in my body right now. Like you see the difference. Like right now, if I got to go kill him, I go right out here in the street and just give somebody the business right now.
Yeah.
That is the magic. That process used to take me 3 hours. I haven't wasted any extra energy. All I do, like I can turn it on in like 5 seconds and I can give you 100% focus, intensity. Like I'm in the battle, I have to win. It's me. I'm in a gunfight. I'm either dying or I'm winning. Right? And I tell a lot of my athletes, like, a lot of times we spend way too much time in our own heads. Athletics isn't about our own head. It's about our head controlling our body. And so if I sit there and I think, all I'm doing is sucking out the 80% of my brain that keeps me alive in fights. I'm cutting that 80% off. I'm using 20% of my brain. You got to flip that around and use the 80% of your brain and cut the 20% off. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay, so all you got to type in for YouTube if you want to practice is tiger attacks elephant. Okay? And then you just picture it, right? Now, like, I don't go past that, right? This dude down here got his hand ripped off, okay?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if they'll show it to you. Hang on, let's see if they'll show it. Yeah, right here. So the tiger got him now, right? Like, you see his hand?
Has been seriously injured in the sudden attack.
His whole hand got jacked, okay? But in my visualization, I just stop it. I just stop it right when that tiger's jumping, right? Like when I see that, ooh, it's right. It's right there again, right?
There it
and
goes.
You can't overuse it. Like I could use it right now. 5 minutes from now, somebody could try to break in my front door. And now in a real life situations, like real life, a lot of times you ain't got to call on it. It's automatic, right?
Yeah.
But the key is not to think yourself out of it. So when I flip that switch, boom, I try to quiet my mind. Quiet my mind. And a place you can work on this is when you're lifting weights, how do you get ready to do a set? Like a set of heavy bench. How do you get ready?
Usually I'll visualize hitting the weight beforehand, and then I'll kind of take a few fast breaths, like slap my shoulders, slap my legs, and then go after it. Okay, this is what I want you to do. This is magical. I got another story for you. This one's crazy, okay? So I'm Jewish, all right? I'm in the Jewish youth group. I'm kind of Jewish, okay? Let me put it that way. I'm in the Jewish youth group, AZA. They got a lifting competition, okay? I was working out with probably 175 for sets of 3 at the time, okay? So it's a bench press competition. So I don't know what's going on. I just get down there and I'm benching, right? I'm going against this other dude. Oh, man. So he fails, right? And I get down on the bench. I didn't look at the weight. I didn't think nothing. I'm in a Jewish youth group, like sports deal. It was stupid, okay? I get down. Guy's like, you ready? I'm like, yeah. He takes it off. Boom. I push it up like it was free. I'm like, damn, I won. Yeah. Dude's like 235 pounds. I was like, what? I had never done 215 before. Okay. So I was like, what? Like, no way. I counted up 235, right? All right, let's try to do 240. I'm like, yeah, I could do 240. That was easy. Boom. They got it off of me. Yeah. 240 couldn't come off my chest, but 235 went up like I was stealing something. What changed? You didn't psych yourself out?
I didn't know it was coming.
Yeah.
Right? I knew 240 was coming. I had no idea 235 was coming. My mind didn't let me lift 240. My body was more than able to lift 240. Okay? So one of the things I've been practicing the last couple of years, and it's absolutely phenomenal. Before, I used to do the same thing you did, okay? 135. I'm going to squat 135 for 5 right now. 135 for 5. Right? Then I would go get on the bar. I do. Okay. It still weighed the same. Now, I get ready. I step into the rack. I close my eyes. I say, quiet my mind. I load the rack up. I don't think about anything. And I just squat. Okay. And it's bananas how much weight you can put up. How good your lifts are when, like, and I say the same thing every set. Quiet your mind. Boom. And what I'm doing is I'm training my mind to be quiet, right? I'm training myself to not overthink and think through things. I'm just quieting my brain. And these are the things in the teams that you learn, right? In them stressful situations, you got to be able to like, hey, man, I ain't got time to be thinking about all this stuff. I got to be working, okay? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. So before a wrestling match, you think like that kind of process would work too?
Dog, let me tell you something. If I had to wrestle, like I went and wrestled, last time I wrestled competitively was in '96 on the All-Navy wrestling team, okay?
Yep.
I was still using the same process. I think this might have made, like, just the Tiger, just understanding how to get mentally prepared would have made me 25 to 30% better, I think. Because I wouldn't have, like, think about this. You know, a regular Washington State wrestling tournament, you know, you got 8 brackets of 8. You're a champion. I've never taken second place in a tournament, ever. I've always, if I get to the finals, I'm winning, period. Like, I'm going to win. But, like, you wrestle 3 matches, but it takes you 2 hours to prepare for each match. You've been wrestling for 6 hours when you get to the finals.
Yeah.
Right? I need all of this to be able to wrestle on the mat, not the hour and a half getting ready mentally. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, what I would tell you is don't take what I say for gospel. Okay. Go to the guys you got in the room and say, how do you prepare for a match? I know this for a fact. An Olympic wrestler thinks about a loss for 8 seconds. I've been carrying around Jeff Amick since my sophomore year. Okay. One of my largest motivators in life is the Jeff Amick defeat with 8 seconds left and a switch. Okay. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
So you're hurt right now. You got 6 months to work on this mental game. Okay. And to change kind of your psyche inside your own head. What weight do you wrestle?
92 kilograms.
92. Is Jaden at your weight?
Yep, Jaden. And then at that weight, I wrestle with Colin Moore a lot. He's 92 kilograms too.
What about Kyle? Kyle Dake went down there too, right? Or went up?
Kyle Dake was at 79, but now he's at 74.
Who's he? Who isn't he?
And Kyle Snyder's at 97.
Okay. Kyle Dake went up to Jordan Burroughs' weight class.
Yep.
Okay, so here's something to think about, right? Like you got a 2-time world champion at your weight. Okay? And I'm going to throw this out there. Do you seriously, so the next thing I'm going to talk to you about is, do you seriously want to be a world champion? And don't answer the question. Don't answer it, right? Is it a dream or is it a goal? Okay? Because dreams are something you dream about and may never happen. Goals are something that you're going to set an action plan to go achieve. Okay? And here's what I'm going to tell you. You're 25?
Yep.
How old is Jaden Cox?
26 or 25.
Okay.
I forget. Yeah.
So here's what I'm gonna throw something out to you. Okay. If you went and became a Navy SEAL, would you have as much job satisfaction as you winning an Olympic gold medal, let's say, or a world team gold medal? Right? You don't have to answer any of these questions. I'm just posing a question to you. Okay? Because if you ask me, what's it gonna take for you to beat What's it gonna take for you to beat Jaden Cox consistently?
For me, I mean, just have to wrestle out of my mind. Like everything has to be right, basically. Just got to be where I need to be.
Okay, but to do that, I would say you're gonna have to get 30% better. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
To beat him consistently. I'm not talking about beat him 1 out of 6 chances. I'm talking about beating him 5 out of 6 chances or 4 out of 6.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
You got to be a world champion. Okay?
Yeah.
And so I always tell people, because at some point you have to take a step back and say, okay, am I really willing to shut everything off for the 3 years it's going to take to make that improvement?
Absolutely.
Right?
I can answer that right now.
No. No, I know you can, but you don't have
Okay.
to, right? This isn't a conversation between me and you. It's a conversation between you and yourself, right? Always understand that. I tell people all the time, I achieve what I achieve because I don't listen to anybody else when it comes to what I want to achieve, okay? Because a lot of times people are going to try to talk you out of it. Like I'm sitting here throwing Navy SEALs at you, right? Like, dude, Josh Glenn is a Navy SEAL, okay? Killing it right now. He's a national champion from American, all right? Killing it. Probably can't be happier in life. Got a bunch of kids, wife, happily married. He doing it best he can do, okay? I tell people like college athletes, like if you want to stay on a team for the rest of your life, you join the SEAL teams, right? Or you go be an Army Ranger, Green Beret. Or you know, like flying ain't the same. You just make a lot of money when you get done. But like if you like, I had 2 linebackers at Finley. They wanted to fight me. I tried to get them to go in the Army. They're both awesome leaders. They're African Americans. They're great young men. The one kid was working at a prison. Called me, Jake. I gotta get out of the prison. I told you you wouldn't like the prison, right? Like the prison sucks. Boom. He got done Ranger school. He's like, oh my God, Jake, you are so right. This is the best thing in the world. I get up, I work out, I eat, I shoot guns, I train. It's exactly like being on a football team. I said, yeah, I told you. I knew you would like it, right? Mm-hmm. So I just posed that question to you because you're in the epicenter right now, okay? If you can't win consistently, it's because you're messing something up, okay? Just like I tell a kid, like if there's a kid on the Ohio State football team and he's not doing well, then he's messing some stuff up, right? So now you got to go on a fact-finding mission, right? Maybe sit down and watch your last 3 losses with coach and talk to him, right? But you've already pretty much, you know what the problem is. You uptight, you thinking too much, you stressed out. Like, put yourself in that environment as much as you can and allow it to become second nature to you. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Simple advice. And then, you know, you take what I just taught you as far as quiet your mind and then your violence of action, right? Like the tiger, like if you want to use the tiger, like, ooh, I just turned it on again. Ooh. So that's the crazy thing. Like, there ain't no limit to it. You just, like as soon as I said tiger, I picked and then it turned on. And the more you do it, the easier it is for your body to turn on. The easier it is for you to quiet your mind when you turn it on. And so pretty soon you're like, oh yeah, boom, boom, boom. Make sense?
Absolutely.
Hey, what kind of questions you got for me as another Washington State champion? What you got?
Man, that's all great stuff. I mean, like you said it took you 3 hours before matches. Like, why did it take so long? Like, what was?
So I'll tell you this story, man. Like my sophomore year. So what happened was I lost 1 match in the 7th and 8th grade. Okay. Yeah. I was a fat little kid. I was like 4'11", 145 pound, fat little kid. Came in my freshman year like I'm gonna dominate this. This ain't no big deal. I've lost 1 match in 2 years, and I promptly went 15-9. I got pinned for the first time like since little kid wrestling. Like it was bad, and I was over here taking it like it's a normal sport. I wasn't running. I got asthma. I couldn't wrestle past the 2nd period. Like I started running every day. I started running around my block. Then I started running around everything, like 2 blocks, 3 blocks. And so I started running, and I was doing all this stuff, okay? What'd you ask me?
Like, why did it take you 3 hours to get ready?
So I made this quantum shift, but the one thing that I realized my freshman year, I was not getting ready for matches. Okay, I just would go out there and wrestle, right? Like, you know, little kid stuff. When you're a little kid wrestling, you don't get ready for that. You just go out and wrestle. Like my son wrestles right now, or he did last year. He didn't get ready. He got stuck, right? He won his first one. He's playing around the second one. That's just kid wrestling, right? You just go out and have a good time, okay?
Yep.
So one of the things I changed out of my freshman year, like I'm gonna get ready for every match. I'm gonna be ready for this fight. So one of my best friends, so Sean Schrader, Rich Wheeler, and Art Peterson. Art and Rich wrestled at Vashon. Sean wrestled at Ording. We all went to camps together all over the country. Like, those are my dudes to this day, right? And they would tell me, they were like, yo, we were so scared of you. I said, what are y'all talking about? Man, you used to sit in the top of the stadium, in the top of the stands with your hood all the way over your face, and you would just be there. You had your yellow sports Walkman on. You was just like, and then you would come out. So I used to run out of the stands onto the match. Like, I didn't warm up. I had my singlet on. I would just sit there. Then when my match came up, boom, I'd run out the stands, take out my stuff, and smash. Okay? But what I know now is that was my immaturity and not having anybody teach me how to properly get ready to wrestle. Okay? That was me trying to figure it out. No coaching, no help. But I know now, like, if I had one of my athletes taking 3 hours to get ready, I'd be like, yo, no way. At most, you get 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Most. Because if you spend an hour of your brain power thinking about the match, that hour literally could cost you the match because you ran out of brain power. There's only so much in here. Okay? If you wear it out, it don't work as well.
Yeah.
But talk to your Olympic guys. Talk to your guys in the room and talk to them, right? Like, you got world-class people all around you. You just got to talk to them and see what works for them. And then replicate it, right? And you might tweak it a little bit, but, like, the Dan Gable deal, right?
Like, what about, like, I know Dan Gable.
Okay, do you know Dan Gable? You know Dan Gable made 2 Olympic champions? Have you ever heard this story?
No, which one? Like,
it's 2 brothers. I want you to Google it.
The Brands brothers?
No.
Bannock's.
No, I don't think it's the Bannock's, is it? They were unranked. They were ranked 15th.
Oh, the Peterson brothers.
Peterson brothers. Yes,
oh,
sir.
That's a throwback. Yep.
Yes, sir. Okay. How did they go from 15th and unranked?
They didn't even place in the NAIA.
Bro, I'm telling you. How did they go from there to win a national championship? How?
They worked out with a psycho.
Okay. And they just did what he did.
Yeah.
The story I love to tell. Dan Gable would be running. They would trade off running with him and drive the truck. And they would keep up as long as they could, and then they would trade out, and the next one would get out and run with Gable. All they did was try to keep up. Gable had the mat in his basement on like 6-foot ceilings. They said their feet hitting the ceiling all the time getting thrown. And one wins goes to nationals that year and wins a gold medal that year. And then the next one, 4 years later, wins a gold medal. And they were unranked. Surround yourself with the best. Do what they do and keep up. And you will, in essence, have to become the best because you're wrestling with the best. People ask me all the time what you can do to be a better wrestler. I tell them, you go wrestle with the best guys in the world, and you will have to raise your level or you'll get scored on all the time and you'll be crappy. Right? Like when I first came in the room, we had All-American Doug Zimbeck, Savage, right? Got killed in 2007. I named my oldest son after him. When I first went in the room, I couldn't score on him. I don't care if you gave me $1 million, I couldn't score on him. But I got pissed. I did what wrestlers do. I started doing stand-ups every day. I started taking my shots. I came in and drilled for an hour a day before school every day. And then by the end of the season, I might be able to take him down like 1 every 10 times, okay? But then I came back the next year and been wrestling all year, and I had nasty jab whizzer, and I figured out if I hit a jab whizzer and he backs his hips away, I just go jab whizzer into single, and I'm in his legs. It's over. Okay, pretty soon I'm taking him down maybe 40% of the time. Okay, now I didn't wrestle that year. I just really was his drill partner. But the point is, I had to raise my level to even get close to be on his level, right?
Yeah.
I got immensely better in 2 years. I didn't wrestle the first 3 years. I wrestled at prep school. Then I didn't wrestle my freshman or sophomore year at Naval Camp. I just played football. So I was 2 years out of wrestling when I came back in the room, and I still was doing well, but you're not tuned up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I say that to say, like, you're in. Where's the best training? Where would you say the best one is? Who's making the most world champions right now?
I mean,
it's really right.
It's really Ohio State and Penn State right now.
Okay, so you're at one of the two best.
Yeah.
Right? Like, maybe have you been over to Penn State and wrestled with those guys?
Nope.
Why not?
Just haven't gone out there, I guess.
I'm gonna throw this right in your face. Okay. You didn't want to go to other high schools because you're a little bit scared. Okay. You grown ass man now. You not gonna win a world championship staying in your comfort zone. It's not gonna happen. You have to force yourself outside your comfort zone. Dude, I'll be at Penn State. I'll be like, yo, coach, I'm gonna roll to Penn State. I'm gonna train up there for a month, see what it's like. Now, I know there's some bad blood between you guys and Penn State, but it's wrestling. No one cares in wrestling, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We're all trying to win Olympic gold medals and world championships. That's what we're trying to do. He's gonna say, go ahead, man, go get it. Go up there and see what they're doing a little bit different. There's a reason Kyle Snyder went up there. Because who's running with Kyle? Is it Jaden? Who's been running with Kyle Snyder? It's Jaden, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like Jaden Cox moved up. It's like, all right. And he running with Kyle. Kyle's like, yo, I got Olympic gold. Like, I got to get better.
Yeah.
Right? Good. What other questions you got?
Man, I mean, that I don't want to ask anything more because I feel like you've given me, like, I don't want to overcomplicate things. You know what I mean?
Bro, it's a simple. I tell people, man, a lot of people want to make it so hard.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing hard to being a great athlete.
Yeah.
Do it right. Do it over and over and over and over again right. And then shut your brain off in performance time and go perform. Okay?
Yeah.
That's it. But a lot of people won't do the work to get the little things right. Like I told you, I lost a challenge match that first year because I couldn't escape. So I did 45 minutes of stand-ups for a month straight. And then I came back in challenge match and I was banging, right? No longer did I just get face grounded in the mat for a whole period. I was able to escape pretty easily then. Okay? So go get it, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, get your injury back. But like, I'm going to tell you this 6 months, you could make a quantum leap in wrestling by just getting your mind right. Okay? The second thing I'm going to tell you, and I think this is a huge advantage, you have unlimited access to Flow, correct?
Yep.
You have unlimited access to watch all the world championship matches out there. Go watch them. Because every match you watch, you get better. Okay? You'll see a new, like I've been working the Russian Thai arm throw series because I got a nasty jab wizard, but I only learned it from an underhook, right? Like they have an underhook, you lock them. But now I can throw it from an over tie. I can throw it from a collar tie, right? Like this, I'm in a collar tie. I just throw jab wizard. It's like, I'm like, damn, man. Like, I didn't have YouTube, right? Like,
yeah.
Unless you had the dude from Oregon State, it was throwing jab wizards all the time. You didn't have nobody to tune it up. You know? Now you got unlimited access to all of these world-class matches. You know, shoot. Go win a world championship. Do that a couple times in your mind. Watch the matches. Say, okay, man, we get ready. Walk around the house, right? Take a day. Say, hey, man, we're going to go wrestle in the world championship today. Put your mind already in that position so when you get there, it's old hat, it's behind you. Because you got some anxiety, sports anxiety, all that stuff. The only way you can deal with it is if you do it more. Make your body accustomed to that stress level so then it becomes accustomed to it and then it's not stressful anymore. Make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay, you're from Washington State, so you can ask as many questions as you want. What you got next?
Oh man, I mean, you know how Washington State is. We're kind of in like a bubble, man. So it's like it's so impressive that you did what you. That's why I knew I had to call you because in Washington, we don't got college wrestling there. Like,
but we did when I was there. So Washington State was still wrestling. Okay.
Okay.
But I tell people this: Washington State, all we care about is winning. I won the University of Washington Science Fair 3 years in a row. All my boys came and cheered me on. They scared the nerds so bad, like nerds like, oh, and I'm winning the engineering competition going away, right? All they care about is winning in Washington State. All we care about is really competing, okay? Yeah. And then our wrestling's okay, and our football's okay, right? We're a little slow in football, and we're okay in wrestling. We ain't great, right? Like when I went to prep school, there were 6 state champions and 6 runner-ups. Runner-up from Pennsylvania and the runner-up from Iowa might have been the 2 best wrestlers on the team. I lost 1 match. The heavyweight went undefeated, and the heavyweight was a 3-time Oklahoma State champion, right? Like, Danny Hicks was a 3-time All-American in college. Like, they just Oklahoma, Iowa, Minnesota, Pennsylvania, Ohio, even Illinois, the high school program is just different. You know what I'm saying? It's a different beast. But my Washington State title held up just fine when I went against some dudes. You know? It's the work ethic more than anything else. But yeah, we in a bubble. Go ahead.
So what made you go from wrestling and playing football to the SEALs?
So I grew up in Fort Lewis.
Okay. Yeah.
I grew up in Steilacoom, right? I tell everybody, like, I had out of my 10 friends, 9 of their dads were E9s. 2 of my dads were sergeant majors of regiments. So, dog, I'm gonna be B.A. Baracus, man. 18, Army Ranger, Green Beret. Like, I got tabs in my kit. I had to go do this photo shoot this morning. In my kit right over here, I got tabs. 2nd Ranger back, Army Ranger tabs. Because that's what I was going to do, probably third grade on. And then I got to, I went to the Naval Academy because they had a better wrestling team and they had engineering. And I should have went to West Point. Like, West Point's a better school. But I went to the Naval Academy because they had sailboats on the cover. It was just an uneducated decision, okay? And then the first day I was there, Jim Galladay won a Bronze Star for Panama. He was a SEAL on the runway in Panama. I was like, yo, what's that? I'm like, oh, okay, well, let's go do that. So it was a 7-year journey. Like, I didn't get it out the Naval Academy. So I had to go to ships. I went to ships for 2 years. It was awesome. I killed it. And then I went SEALs for 4 years, and it was an eye-opening experience. I thought it was kind of rough when I was in, but now I realize that life's a lot rougher than that. So I learned a bunch of phenomenal kind of – I tell people this. Going to be a Navy SEAL made me a 5 times better athlete, all from a mental capacity standpoint. All from the whole ability to be able to manage stress, apply what you've learned, turning sports think off. All of that stuff manifested itself in the SEAL teams because you're doing stuff that could kill you at any moment. And so it's always stressful and you just get used to it, and pretty soon you're able to perform in it. But yeah, it wasn't no crazy thing. It was just me saying, hey man, I'm gonna be a Navy SEAL, period. Right? Like, let's go do it. So, and then in '98, I became the first African-American graduate from SEAL training, African-American officer to graduate from SEAL training in 9 years. So,
damn.
Yeah. Not a big deal. That's a long time ago, man. We on to the next thing. All right, what else you got, Morgan?
Oh, man. Okay, last one I got for you. When you talked about, like, staying in that zone where you're reacting.
Yep.
And, like, when you were on the teams and you were in that zone, how do you maintain that? Because, it's like things can take you out of it. Like, there's been a match where, like, a guy does something, you know what I mean? Like, takes you off your game a little bit, and you snap out of it, and then you're like, oh, shit, I'm a little tired right now, or, like, I'm out, like.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what I would do. And I'm saying what I would do because I haven't been in a wrestling match with my new skills, right? My new Jedi skills. But all I would do in the middle of a wrestling match is quiet your mind. Boom. Like I've got my body trained so much over the last 4 years lifting weights now. As soon as I said quiet in my mind, I totally lost my train of thought. And I had to go grab it real quickly or I'd have been asking what are we talking about. Right? Because when I say quiet my mind, it's quiet. Like there's nothing in there. Like I'm looking at a butterfly. I don't know. Like I'm just kind of. There's nothing in the thought process. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So but here's what I'm going to tell you. What do you think I'm going to tell you to do?
Talk to my coaches and
talk to the dudes that got world championships.
Yeah.
And see what they're doing and emulate what they're doing. See, that's the hardest thing. You've already come 95% of the problem, right? You've come 95% because 95% of the people don't have access to the dudes you have access to. So they trying to be world champions, but they're not in the room that you in. So they don't have the access, right? Like I've been watching a ton of Iranian wrestling. And you watch those videos, and they got 70-year-old world champions in them rooms.
Yeah.
Wrestling with the little kids, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I understand why they're so good. Because when that 4-year-old has his hand like this, instead of like that world champ, hang on, Morgan, come here, man. Hey, put your hand like this.
They see that. And
that 4-year-old says, ooh, hand goes like this. Right? But they don't even really wrestle with little kids. Like at 4, they doing flips, back flips, front flips. Like, they just, like, I've taken so much from them on an athletic, because their whole process to 6 is athletic development.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So, but when you look at it, like, there's a reason they're really good. They just got world champions, right? Okay. Same thing with the Russians, the Uzbekistans, right? All the Uzbeks, right? Like that's big in their culture, one, but really the thing is they got so much corporate knowledge that they're able to skip 95% of the process and go right to what works and what's effective. Same thing for you. You're already at that 95%. Now you got to tap into it, humble yourself, go to them and ask questions, and then try to emulate them, right? Like Miles Martin's pretty good, but he had won nothing on the world scene, right? No. So but you got Kyle Snyder, you got your coach, you got enough people, and then shit, hey man, get in your car and drive to Penn State. It's like 6 hours from you, right? 7 hours?
Yep.
Make that run for greatness. Kyle, can I sleep on your couch? Go to Walmart, $7.95, you get an air mattress. It sleep just as good as a bed.
Yep.
Okay. All right, what else you got, Morgan? Anything else, bud?
No, thank you so much. Appreciate everything.
Thank you for letting me record it on Zoom, man. I appreciate it because I think this is gonna be a banger right here. Just to get people to understand, like, there's so much more to winning than just the actual match itself. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Hey man, if you need anything, you got my phone number, dog. I'm always here to help USA Wrestling, period. Are you Samoan?
Fijian.
Okay, because I'm about to give you some Samoan and shit. I grew up with 3 of them, so, but I don't know no Fiji, so you good.
You're from the Northwest, you know we're all out there.
Yeah, but I say like Talofa, Fasafua. I would say the bad word, but I'm doing really good on curbing my words on Zoom so I can actually use the content. So, all right, man, look, spend the next 6 months grinding on your physical rehab, right? But I want you to take that 6 months. I want you to really grind on your mental aspect of the game so that when you come out of that 6 months, you can make a quantum leap. Okay? And if at some point you get tired of the process, just realize you're going to be a Navy SEAL tomorrow. You got your college degree?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You'll be a Navy SEAL officer tomorrow because you're a wrestler. And we walk through training.
Oh, man. Don't get me hyped up like that.
Bro, I'm just telling you the truth, man. Like that, dog, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Like I got a blueprint, and I put people in the blueprint. They come out the other end. I got the captain of our baseball team is graduating in 2 weeks. Right? He's told 2 years ago, I won't be Navy SEAL. All right, let's go. He listened, applied what I said, boom. He's graduating in 2 weeks, going to a SEAL team on the East Coast. Okay? You're a wrestler, dude. I can take any wrestler out there and make him a Navy SEAL overnight. Because it's the same skills you learn in wrestling. You're just going to learn, instead of a single leg takedown, you're going to learn how to, unfoul your scuba gear. Instead of a, head and arm or a jab whizzer, you're going to learn how to rappel out of a helicopter, a fast rope. Same skills, just different translation. All right, I put that germ in your ear. I put that little seed in your head right now. But go get your world title and then come make some magic.
Absolutely.
All right, Morgan, kick butt. You got my phone number. You need anything, give me a ring, bud.
Thanks, Jake. Appreciate it so much.
Hey, man, my pleasure, man. Kick butt for the USA, baby. The red, white, and blue.
Absolutely.
Okay? All right, man.